With the first batch of luxurious hybrid taxis hitting the city's streets, the sole distributor of the new Toyota said the government should loosen its purse strings and provide more sweeteners for the taxi industry to upgrade to the eco-friendly vehicles, as this would help boost its somewhat battered image. In an interview with The Post, Stevie Wong, CEO of vehicle service group Inchcape, made the assertion as she said the new hybrid taxis could improve not only Hong Kong's air quality but also the public perception of taxi drivers, with a more pleasant service experience for passengers. Inchcape is the parent company of Crown Motors, the sole distributor for Toyota taxis in the city, which supplies more than 90% of Hong Kong taxis. Through the new hybrid taxis, we hope to build up some positive momentum and a new way of thinking for the taxi industry to upgrade their service, she said. Actually, we've received a lot of feedback from passengers. They all praised the new ride as very comfortable, which gave a better impression of Hong Kong cabs. Wong spelled out the positive note in the wake of Crown Motors recently launching Toyota Comfort hybrid taxis in the city and announcing its plan to phase out the existing 18,163 vehicles powered by liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), as Toyota has already ended production of the old model. The new model, which includes wheelchair access, costs about $320,000, $40,000, and will cut carbon dioxide emissions and fuel bills by half, about $100 per day. The cars do 19.4 kilometers per liter of LPG, compared with only about 9.8 kilometers for the old taxis, which cost more than $260,000, $33,000. Taxi drivers plan anti-Uber march threatening to escalate to citywide protest. The vehicle has a wider passenger door and bigger interior, 4 seats, an electric sliding door for wheelchairs, and USB connectors for charging mobile phones. It is also equipped with enhanced safety features such as 5 extra airbags, a vehicle stability control system to reduce speed on slippery roads, and a hill start assist control system to prevent the vehicle from sliding backwards. However, Wong said the city's pace in switching to the use of hybrid taxis hinged on whether there was a green policy to facilitate such a change, as the government so far had not formulated any policies or timetable for the upgrade of LPG taxis to greener vehicles. For example, there is a policy for goods vehicles reaching 15 years old to be replaced compulsorily, and also timetables and subsidies for commercial vehicles to be upgraded to a certain European standard. But taxis are at present the only type of commercial vehicles that are not subject to such a policy, she pointed out. Taxis will not require permits for restricted zone drop-offs and pickups by 2021. About 17 hybrids are already on the city's roads, after 4 began trials last year. About 1,000 will be shipped to the city gradually before the end of this year. But an estimated 10,000 of Hong Kong's Toyota taxis are more than 13 years old and due for replacement. Wong suggested the government consider formulating a policy to stipulate when taxi owners must replace their vehicles. Through the new hybrid taxis, we hope to build up some positive momentum and a new way of thinking for the taxi industry to upgrade their service. Stevie Wong, Inchcape. The government can be more proactive in this regard. Of course, it needs to discuss with the sector about the appropriate lifespan for taxis. I believe 15 years could be a starting point for discussion, she said, adding that in Japan, taxi operators would replace their vehicles of their own accord after 5 or 6 years of operation, even without government subsidies. Ronald Wong, director of Inchcape, said bigger government incentives were also required to lure taxi operators into upgrading their fleets. He said such financial support was still very limited, such as a full waiver for the first registration tax. The Pilot Green Fund, however, is not easily accessible for taxi operators. For the taxi industry, without any money incentives, operators won't replace their old vehicles until they can no longer function, he said. Some industry representatives have already proposed that the government offer sweeteners to facilitate the change, such as higher fares, as maintaining the energy-saving cabs would impose an extra financial burden on operators and drivers. Stevie Wong said the government could also consider other initiatives to encourage cabbies to take wheelchair users, such as in the form of medical coupons for drivers to redeem for compensation, or higher booking charges. It takes more time, about 15 minutes, to fit a folding platform to the hybrid to allow wheelchairs to board. She acknowledged it might be a turn-off for taxi drivers and pose difficulties for those picking up wheelchair users. First hybrid Toyota taxis hit road, but wider use will need incentives. We are providing training courses for cabbies, and Toyota also plans to introduce a faster 3-minute version for rolling a wheelchair in. But I think this feature could address the difficulties for wheelchair users hiring a taxi in Hong Kong, she said. I hope the government and the taxi industry can work out a policy that is financially acceptable for the sector while enabling the government to achieve its green objectives, Wong said. If the taxi industry's image can be upgraded, it will also help attract new blood to this aging sector.